Okay, look, I want to talk about my approach of diet strategy with clients and why and how it's so massively different than what's going on out there in the fitness industry. My approach to diet strategy is one that has to include diet psychology and well being. Most fitness pundits and fitness wannabe experts are all fascinated with mathematical formulas because it makes them sound intelligent, makes them sound smarter, and gives you, the consumer, what we call the illusion of control. But here's the thing: all that does, approaching that your inner life and your inner world can be reduced to a series of mathematical formulas and equations, eventually that's going to trap you. It's life inside the thin cage. My goal for people and my clients is to release them from a life inside the thin cage. Research is already showing, University of Pittsburgh and other places, that these apps that you can use like FitDay and the rest, they become demotivating, not motivating. And they give people a lot of apathy because of pressure to perform and things like that down the road. So while you may honeymoon up front and be fascinated by all this number crunching that you can do to fit your macros and count your carbs and backload your grams and all these other things, they actually start producing an obsessive nature where you become self judging. Were you perfect today or not perfect today? You start telling yourself you failed or you achieved, and you start seeing things in black and white terms. I'm a failure, I'm an achiever, I was good, I was bad. That's life inside the thin cage. My goal is an actual human connection to the food abundance world we live in. My goal is to take clients for a life of being liberated and free from a life inside the thin cage that the fitness world and diet world seems to have so upside down, especially in the relation to how our brains evolved, like most mammalian brains, to seek out food and want food as a method of survival of the fittest. So, all these mathematical formulas, do you really think you can reduce your life to a series of mathematical equations? And do you really think that's good for your health and well being? My goal in diet strategy is to always include and work toward well being and a healthy diet psychology that's inclusive, not exclusive, of foods and the world of food abundance that we live in. Has to be faced, has to be embraced, has to be accepted. All this fitness wannabe guru nonsense of mathematical formulas, because it makes the guru sound really, really smart and intelligent. I'm telling you, as a consumer, as a person with a real life outside the fitness industry, these formulas and mathematical equations will trap you to a life inside the thin cage if you're not careful. So I'm all about health and well-being. Health and well-being is a qualitative thing that you can't reduce to a series of mathematical formulas. It's something you have to feel and experience and embrace, and that should be the goal of any fitness coach wanting to help people improve their lives. So, again, a diet strategy without some course of action that includes a healthy diet psychology isn't doing a client any favors, and that's what differentiates me, I think, in terms of my approach to helping clients not only through physique transformation but through a personal transformation where they live in good stead from the inside out, rather than trying to constantly judge themselves from the outside in based upon mathematical formulas. And our body is just not that linear to begin with. So, heads up, if your guru is trying to teach you all about mathematical formulas and staying true to them, be careful you're not setting yourself up for what starts out as a fascination can soon become an obsession. And remember, the difference between mastery and obsession is that mastery is when you control that thing you do, and obsession is when that thing you do controls you. So be very, very careful of the potential to having a life locked inside the thin cage and not being able to find your way out. And you certainly won't be able to calculate your way out. That's something you must feel, embrace, and experience. So, just a little bit of my approach to a healthy diet strategy has to include a healthy diet psychology. So hopefully this benefited you. If it did, by all means, hit the share button. Tell your friends. Tune in to my Sunday Breakfast with the Coach Facebook Live show and ask your questions, and I'll be happy to give your answers. So heads up, my goal when I deal with clients is to free them and liberate them from a life inside the thin cage, not to continue to trap them there. So enough said, and move on.